Got you. So this kind of stems off the question that you asked before. So obviously, most people's perspective of a pharmacist is they're over the counter in boots or whatnot. So what kind of things do pharmacists do that people don't realize?
Yeah, I like the fact that you asked that question because sometimes people bring their prescriptions to hospital and we're like, yeah, the waiting time's half an hour.
Yeah.
And they're like, half an hour? What do you mean? Just get it off the shelf and give it to me. But it's not like that. So when you give us a prescription, we have to check for interactions, make sure that the dose and the medication itself is the correct medication for your indication. Because although doctors go through years of training, sometimes they make mistakes.
Of course.
Do you know what I mean? Sometimes they're not up to date with current guidance or current practice. There could be something that they don't know about. So you might be on some blood pressure medication, for example, and you've come in, let's say for gout, and they've prescribed a medication that might possibly interact with your blood pressure medication. So we would ask you, are you on any other medications?
Yeah.
Whereas they're so busy upstairs, they might have forgotten that, and then we'll pick it up, have to contact them, recommend an alternative.
Yeah.
So there are two things that we do when we receive a prescription. We check that the prescription is legal, in terms of like it's valid, the date's correct, it's got a signature, the person who prescribed it for you is registered, and then also we check it to make sure that it's clinically safe and therapeutic.
Okay.
So it's got to be safe, but it's also got to be able to work. Do you know what I mean? So we check that.
So how'd you do that, or is it just a database thing you just plug in?
So it is a database thing, which after a while it kind of sticks in your head.
Yeah.
So you know that, okay, when you see a prescription for, let's say, paracetamol at 1 gram, you know that's a therapeutic dose.
Yeah.
Cool, let it go.
Cool.
But you know there are times where
you have to double check.
with certain medications, especially some of those ones that have got a narrow therapeutic window.
Yeah.
So that's one side of the pharmacy role in the dispensary. Another side is when you're on the wards. So you pretty much apply those same principles to the medication charts. So for your inpatients, you go around the bays, make sure that the medications that have been prescribed, the prescription is legal, it's valid, and then also make sure that it's clinically safe and therapeutic. Do you know what I mean? Because I could prescribe you 2.5 milligrams of a blood pressure medication. Although it may be safe, it might not actually work. Do you know what I mean? So we would make sure that actually it's the right dose for you, and there's a lot of pressure on us to actually speed up or quicken your admission. Now, from a pharmacist's point of view, we're supposed to optimize your therapy. So there's a program called like medicines optimization. So we'll look at your drug chart and say, okay, maybe they've predicted that you're going to be in hospital for 10 days.
Yeah.
What can we do to reduce that length of admission to maybe 6 days, 7 days? Because every day you spend in hospital costs the NHS about £400 to £500 on average. But guess what? If we can reduce your length of admission by 3 days, we've saved the NHS 1,500. And sometimes you can do that through the optimization of medication. So our role comes in there as well. Also counselling patients on their medication. So when it comes to things like HIV, and someone's starting HIV medication for the first time, you sit down with them, go through their medication with them, let them know about any potential side effects. The same with medications in psychiatry. So there's a lot of elements to it that you don't see, or that people don't see. They just think we just take it off the shelf and give it to them. There's also drug budgets as well. So we've got to be in the back office, making sure that the doctor who's prescribing medication stays within his budget, or the department stays within their budget. So let's say the hospital's got a drug budget of £1 million, and each consultant has got a budget of, let's say, 100,000. We've got to make sure that whatever drugs they're prescribing for the year stays within 100,000.
Wait.
Bro, that's bad.
So let's say my girl's on cancer, innit? And she needs a certain amount of drugs so that she can live. And my guy's on, 999,000 and 98 pounds on the drug budget. So what happens?
So the budget for cancer medications, it comes from a different budget.
Okay.
It doesn't come from the consultants.
Because it's chronic, because it's ongoing.
No, just because of the kind of ailment and illness that it is. Do you know what I mean? There's a bit more lenience, and obviously chemo is very expensive, more expensive than your common drugs. So literally that budget that a consultant's got for his medications could literally end from April to May, June, just because chemo drugs are so expensive.
Okay.
So there's actually a different pot for those drugs. But yeah, you do have to keep an eye on the amount that doctors are spending.
What happens if the doctor overspends? That's what I'm
So if he overspends,
downgrade the pills, like the water
You was
down.
on Panadol, now you're just on Tesco paracetamol.
to be fair, do you know, I haven't heard of a doctor, being struck off for overspending. I guess they'll just be more tighter on that. There'll be tighter restrictions on the doctor's prescribing. So us as pharmacists, we'll try and work with the doctor to say to them, actually, you keep on prescribing this expensive drug. Let's see if we can prescribe a cheaper alternative, one that's cost effective. So it's not that you just have to prescribe cheaper drugs.
Yeah,
we got to make sure that it's cost effective. But if the doctor is genuinely spending that amount on drugs and nothing can be done, then we have to look at ways of increasing the drug budget. How can we get money and that kind of thing.